Okay, for the newcomers, again I repeat, today's session will be going on a simulation of your analysis and creating your part drawings, creating your assembly drawings, and we will see how to create your a simple rendering also. Okay, fine. Now let's go to our session. Fusion 360. Okay. Uh, See, always do remember that for rendering simulation also you need to have good internet connection. So please do remember that thing in your mind. Okay, all the software is cloud based. You need to have good internet connection and everything. So you can run it on a cloud. I mean, a local computer. You can run it on a computer. So we'll see how it is going to do. Okay, fine. Let us see a simple design. So we'll create. What we'll create? We'll create a bicycle pedal or some example. So we'll do on that. Okay, fine. I'll create a simple sketch onto the front view. Let me create a simple slot. System is really slow today. Fine. Let me give it as 20 on one side and 20 on. Let us give 15 on the other side. Okay. So just finish the sketch and just give an extrude operation and let us do it on symmetric. Okay. So my thickness would be 4 mm. Okay, let's click OK. Okay, this is just a simple link. So we will do that a simple analysis on this particular link actually. Okay, so it is not, see, one thing, it is not necessary in an analysis operation, it is not necessary to create, I mean, to change your body into your component. Okay, so for safe being, just let us create a component from your given body. So one component is that component number one, let us rename it as link. Okay, fine. For this particular link, we'll just do a simple simulation how we are going to do. And before going to that, you can add your material from here itself and go over here, right click, go to physical material, and where is this? Okay, fine. In your material, this is your library. You can choose any library you want, additive library or non-linear. So non-linear materials like ceramics and those layer patterns, we'll get all those things in non-linear. Generally go with a simple material, go with metal. I'll go with metal. So I'll go with simple basic aluminum. Drag and drop that over here. Now my material is assigned. So how to see whether my material is assigned or not? Okay, let's open this. Let's open my link. Just here give a right click. That is, okay, give a right click and go to properties. See, as soon as you open your properties, you are able to see the area of your uh, this thing and your density. See, after assigning your material only, you can check your mass. See, in your interview questions or else in your Fusion 360 certification program, he will be asking to assign a material to a given body uh, and check the weight of that particular element. So the way you need to do is this is the actual way. You have to drag and drop your material. So your part name and your physical material, make sure it is aluminum, and you are adding this material. See, physical material always represents that both appearance and also the body. It is completely turned into your aluminum itself. So make sure your physical material is aluminum. So whatever your question says, and you can calculate your volume. This is your mass, this is your density, and this is your area. So now let us see the bounding box. So what is the overall length, the overall width, and overall height of your entire part? So calculate length, width, and height, you'll get your volume. Okay, that is as simple as such. And you can get your center of mass. See, center of mass, or CG. You can calculate your moment of inertia. My window is getting very slow. Okay, fine. So if you close these bounding box, so you can see moment of inertia. I think you have calculated that in your with subject. I don't know exactly, but we actually go with the theory of elasticity and plasticity. So in our masters, so you can calculate the moment of inertia. It's a 3 by 3 matrix because there are three. So you can find diagonal elements ixx, iyy, and izz. As this is a simple non-linear element, so we can find your principal excuse me, principal vectors only on diagonal. So I'm not going that deep into your mathematics. So this is how you generally find your moment of inertia and everything. And if you open this, you can find moment of inertia, center of mass, by at the horizon. One is depending upon your center of gravity, one is depending upon your coordinate system. So that is how you can find. And if you want to copy all these properties and paste it in your Word document or wherever it might be, just copy to clipboard. You go open your Word file and you can just copy and paste. Okay, no need to memorize or copy each and everything. Okay, so all these things, see in your mini project. I mean. Point of view, this is how you actually copy your property of your part. So let me say, okay, fine, in your assembly there are two or three different kinds of material, and there are 4 to 5 different parts actually. 4 to 5 different kinds of parts. So click each and every part, go to properties, and you have to copy to clipboard. See, part number 1, these are the properties. Part number 2, these are the properties. This is how you would need to extract. Okay, don't simply say that area of this one is so and so. Okay, it automatically calculates everything for you. Just assign your material. You have n number of materials always. Aluminium 1602. So there are 6000 series 6061. So there are ton of materials. Select those materials from the list, assign it, and check your properties. Okay, okay, let's click OK for now. And this is how you actually assign your proper material and check your CG and everything. Now let us go to design, and let us go to simulation. Okay, let's go to simulation. Okay, okay. So in your simulation, there are a few basic simulations. See, Fusion 360 is not a completely analysis software. Okay, it is combined. See, basics of, there are basics of design, basics of manufacturing, basics of analysis. Okay, so it is not a complete all-round. I mean, it is a complete all-round package, but not highly. I mean, highly intensive to do analysis. Okay, basic analysis you can do, like static analysis. Model frequencies means you can find modes like vibrations, first mode, second mode, third mode, and you can do your electronic projects. Like if you have a processor and you want to check the thermal analysis on that, and your mechanical thermal analysis is over here, and your thermal stresses. Okay, structure and buckling. Okay, and this is non-linear. From here you can start your non-linear static analysis. Like you can do non-linear stresses like your carbon nanotubes, and those all are non-linear things. And event simulation. See, event simulation preview is nothing but your actual simulation, how you actually simulate, and also you do an analysis over that, like your car crash analysis. Okay, and tire pressure analysis. Okay, so those are some of the examples, but they actually need cloud based analysis tools. Okay, and your shape optimization. See, shape optimization is cross section optimization generally. So if you have a cross section, see, if you have a rectangular bar, so if you want to make it hollow and add some ribs and some other cross section web underneath that, so you can do that analysis. Generally this shape optimization goes with your composites generally. Okay, so this is about basics of this analysis. Then we will be limited to only static stress. Okay, that is what you have learned in your finite element methods. Okay, it is vast. Create study. Okay, now your component is there. See, you can watch a number of videos. Welcome to simulation workspace. You have quick setup, you can thermal optimization. See, there are a number of resources from where you can learn everything. Okay, this is not limited. So you can just open and learn, go through YouTube, or you can have things to learn. Okay, now let's see. See, there will be a procedure for analysis in any given software. Like example, if we take a proper finite element analysis like ANSYS, so ANSYS, Abacus, or Hypermesh. So all these softwares contain a particular procedure in your while doing analysis. Right? If you want, you can note it down. So first thing is you need to select what type of study you are doing on. That is your static stress analysis. So always in your interview you will be asking with what type of analysis you are performing on. So you have to say that I am performing only a static stress analysis. Okay, what type of static stress analysis? Okay, fine. You need to find displacement, you need to find a basic stress, basic strain. So those kind of things you need to see. That is the first and foremost thing. So don't simply say that, okay, fine, I'm doing stress analysis. So there are non-linear stresses and there are static stresses, thermal stresses. Okay, so be precise and know what you are doing actually. And next is simplify. So always in your analysis, make sure you have only one component and you have degrees of freedom given to only one component. See, example, if there is a bush over here and if we want to do it and we want to do an analysis. So see, after applying, see, what we generally do is we fix this and we apply load onto this end, and we will find the stresses exactly at this particular surface. And the output, see, the whatever stresses which are developing onto this surface, I will give input to that particular bush. Now I'll select that bush and I'll select the outer face and I'll give stresses over there. Okay, now I'll give load as so and so newtons to that particular bush. So one component output result may be input to another component. That is how you need to analyze in your proper finite element analysis. Okay, because meshing will be there. That is the major part in your analysis. Okay, so now that I'm not going that deep into your analysis part. Okay, now let us see basic thing. Now simplify. What it actually does is, if you simplify, removes detailed features. Now there are in see what simplify does is, there are no complicated features. Like if you have threads, it will remove threads, but in the background, if you select this face, it assume if there is a thread over here, it assumes that that is a thread, but in your view it will be showing the base hole size. Okay, that is how you generally see. It removes your fillets and it removes your draft angles and everything to simplify surface. Okay, simplification is quite you need to know actually what I need to simplify and what I don't want to simplify. Okay, now simplify, you can remove your any extra elements if you have, right? If you have decals, if you have any extra showcase kind of things, you can remove everything by using simplify. As in this figure I don't have anything. The next thing is study materials. Now, by default, see, overwrite. By default, my material is aluminium. Okay. Now, if you leave it as it is, click OK. Your aluminium can be, your material is assigned. Now, if I want to change my material to a different material, like aluminium, I have 1000 series, 2000 to 6000 series. Okay, you have anodized aluminium, bronze, and everything. So select from the list of materials, whatever it might be, iron, aluminium. Okay, now my intention is, let me change my material to aluminum 6000 series. Okay, fine, let us click OK. So if you want to go to properties and see what are the yield strength and everything of properties of aluminum 6061, you can check it over here. Just you can take a screenshot and you can keep that in your project. So this is my material properties. Okay, or else you can just Google it and materials. Okay, that is how you generally do it. That okay, and click OK. So that is how your material is going to be assigned. So you can check from your study material, just open it. You have aluminum 6061 assigned to your study. Okay, and next is constraints. And next, see, this is the procedure. See, your Fusion 360 has placed your I mean placed your toolbar into a step-by-step procedure itself. Okay, first thing is selecting your study, simplification, adding materials, next going to constraints, and next checking is degrees of freedom. Okay, now let us do constraints. Okay, now constraints are most important part in your assembly. Now in your, now I don't have any degrees of freedom. Okay, now what I'm doing is, okay, in this entire assembly I'm selecting, let me escape constraints. I want to fix a given face. So what I'm doing is, I'll select this particular face and I want to arrest this face in all degrees of freedom. So that is what I'm doing. So my intention is just like a cantilever beam, simple cantilever beam, just like your, you have a cycle link. So one, this is connected to your gear, I mean your toothed gear, and excuse me. Okay, pardon. Okay, this is your simple gear assembly. So in that particular gear design, so you have one particular link and you have pedal over here. Okay, now taking that as an example, now what I'm doing over here is just fixing this particular design over here. Initially, UX UI user is direction in X, direction in Y, direction in Z. Now blue color means it, I am fixing that in all the directions, not only in one, all the directions I'm just fixing it. Okay, just click OK. See, this analysis part is quite very important in your finite element subject matter. So you need to have subject knowledge a lot, because without knowing that particular knowledge, what is UX UI use it, I cannot explain the theoretical part right now. Okay, so be familiar with your finite element method. Okay, so that is how your things are going to be done. And see, there are different kinds of structural constraints, fixing and giving. See, if you open, there is a pin type of joint and there is frictionless joint, and you have prescribed displacement. Yeah, all these are a little bit advanced. So if you have a pin type job, right, now you are analyzing linkage dynamics, like you have 3-bar mechanism, 2-bar mechanism. So over there, now if you want to give a pin type, now it can rotate on this particular at this particular place, but it cannot move. That is called pin type. Okay, that is what a pin joint does. What is frictionless surface? If you have a bearing analysis, now you want to do some friction, so a friction will be there over there. So you selecting the upper ring and the bottom ring, you have to give the type of uh, the type of constraint between those two is a frictionless surface. Okay, frictionless or friction. So prescribed displacement, and prescribed displacement is, now I am allowing some displacement over here. There is some play. That means I have a gap intentionally. I'm doing, whether if there is a gap, I mean a bush is not exactly fixed into this particular slot. So at that time, what would be my analysis? Okay, so that kind of analysis you can do, but they are really advanced. You have to do a mathematical analysis first, find the stresses, and you, the same thing you have to simulate it over here. Okay, just click cancel. So I'm going with very basic analysis. Okay, so you can follow the similar basic analysis by taking your project into your mind. And next is loads. There are n types of loads. Just to go with a basic static structural load, you are going to add some force over here. Generally, can change your direction. Now what I'll do is, one on the face I'm acting. See, you can take this particular edge and you can add your force, but generally your pedal would be going inside this slot and you're actually applying your force in onto this face actually. Okay, and your direction generally would be, I'm just normal. No, I don't want normal. I want to have 0. Okay, fine. Let me zoom in. Okay, I'm going downwards, and what I'll give is magnitude is 1000 newtons. Okay, just click force. See, there you have different kinds of loads like pressure, moment of inertia. Like you have a couple, like double movement gives a simple couple, or as a bearing load. Bearing load means you have like capsule. So you have a capsule. Now eggshell is a simple example of a capsule. Bearing load is you have your uh, surface. So entire surface is now is under pressure. Okay, so that is called bearing load. And remote force. Remote force means you another external force is acting on your this is your pressure due to a single object. This is pressure due to your environment. Okay, remote force. And hydrostatic pressure, like your fluid, you have your gases, you have your fluid. If you have a cylinder analysis, example, you take LPG cylinder, you have internal pressure, you give an hydrostatic, or else you give water, you have some fluid. Okay, pressure exerted by a fluid is a simple hydrostatic force. Okay, let us give this as force as 1000 newtons. I don't know the exact value, I'm just giving it randomly. Let's check it now. You need to show it off. Now, see, contacts are automatic contacts and manual contacts are a little bit advanced. So whenever you are doing assembly, and I mean, whenever you are taking your analysis, like bearing, you have a simple bearing. You have your soft balls, I mean, your spheres, and you have inner ring and outer ring. Over there, you need to define contacts. What type of contact is there between your uh, part 1 and part 2. Generally it is a slip one, or else it is a non-slip one, whether that is a tight fit or else whether it is a normal fit. Okay, so this kind of analysis needs your cloud computing uh, packages. Okay, so I'm not going that deep your contact analysis, because I need to teach that in a proper analysis, then only I can come into your this part. Okay, but anyhow, you are going to learn in the forthcoming month. I mean, whenever your college opens, you have that in your answers. Okay, in your CAD CAM lab. And your display. So you can display toggle mesh visibility. Okay, so if you want to compute your mesh now, you can compute your mesh. See, while computing your mesh, please leave your system as it is. If it is a complicated design, see. Wow. Okay, fine. It actually messed my entire figure. Okay, this is your meshed view. So there are many doubts in your your, after you complete your for one, that is after completing your CAD CAM lab, you have to do a simple and a finite element analysis. So how to get a meshed component? Okay, so this is how you actually get model mesh visibility. Okay, and you can check what are degrees of freedom. See, always the next step is after defining your loads is checking your degrees of freedom. Okay, your entire part should be turned into green color. That means all the degrees of freedom you have given. That means this part cannot be moved actually. Okay, there is no movement. Like any degrees of freedom is not left over. Okay, if this step is not there in your project, or else if this step is not available in your you're not able to do it, then your project is not perfect actually. Your analysis is not perfect actually. You have to give all the degrees of freedom. That means in x direction you have, if there is a displacement in x direction, okay fine, you have to define that. Defining your constraints, defining your degrees of freedom is what is important to me. So if I give any distance over here, like 2 mm, there is a displacement at this particular end. Okay, fine, I have defined it. Then that is called as a simple degree of freedom. I have defined, I am allowing 2 mm a movement at this particular edge. Okay, just make sure that you check this, and this screenshot or else how you actually take it, that is up to you. This screenshot should be there in your mini projects. Okay, so that you are defining complete degree of freedom. How to see that? Go to display, degree of freedom view, and there that should be turned into green. Okay, it has to be fixed in all the directions. Okay, you can check your toggle mesh visibility and or no directly from here or here. Okay, that is up to you how you do it. Okay, now let's pre-check. So before going to solve, see, solve is not a simple command. If as soon as you click solve, it loads your algorithms and it directly runs an analysis. If there is an error in your solving operation, then that is going to be a huge problem again. Okay, before that just pre-check it. If there are any errors, it will show that there are some errors that you did not give any loads, or you have forgot to give material, and those kind of silly errors you can avoid. Okay, just click OK and let's solve. And over here, the most important thing is there are two options to solve: on cloud and locally. Please click locally. See, if you are going to click on cloud, see, you cloud credits, you have to have manage cloud credits. You need to have credits. That means like your coins, like simply in your games, you have coins, right? 15, 20, 35 coins. You need to have that kind of coins to perform your cloud based analysis. Okay, so you have cloud credits 5. In order to perform static stress analysis, you need to have cloud credits as 5. Okay, those are really higher level. Just make sure you do it locally. And now you are doing your simulation depending upon your graphic intensive unit, GPU or a CPU, whatever it might be. Now you are doing it locally. Press solve. Give the name as your project as link or something. Click save. Now it will perform. I mean, it will solve your operation. Now your status will always depend upon your hardware capability. Okay, leave the system as it is. Don't do any mischief. So it will complete and it will show your analysis. Okay, fine. Now you have results. Now you can click close over here and you can see. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay. Now if you have many people will be having their projects. What is your actual factor of safety? Now this is, it should be generally better than 3. Now this factor of safety is it depends on scale. Okay, it is on 1 to 10 scale, or in that particular, some people will be having 0 to 1. Okay, so it depends on how you actually tune your model. Okay, so now you are having adjusted. Now you have to define it as actual. Okay, so by default it will go with adjusted. Adjusted means that is not an accurate result. This is your actual result. Okay, now you can change your let us keep this aside. This is your actual toolbox. These are your actual results. Okay, let me zoom in. Now see, this is load case 1. Okay, factor of safety. See, this is regarding your factor of safety. It is saying that maximum factor of safety is 15 over here, and it is minimum at this particular position. That means there is a tendency to break over here. Now let us see what are the stresses induced. Can check stresses. See, now you can check what are von Mises stresses and principal stresses. Now you have learned in your finite element methods, right? Shear stress, normal stress, and your first principal stress, tensile stress. What is von Mises? What is Tresca yield criteria? So all these you have. Okay, you can define units, what in megapascals or pascals. Okay, now the stress at a given point, or else the stress at a maximum stress present at this particular place is 13 megapascals. Now how you are going to test? that is left up to you. Now you have to do analysis. Now I give a simple hint. What is the maximum yield strength of this particular material? Then compare that with your von Mises stress, whether it is greater or else whether it is lower. So what happens when it is higher? What happens when it is lower? So depending upon that, whether your design is uh, passed or whether your design is failed, you have to decide upon that. That is one of your intuition, one of our intuition, how we actually evaluate. Or else simply you can evaluate by checking this maximum factor of safety and all. Okay, and that is about your factor of safety, stress, and you can check your displacement. What is my displacement? Over here you can see this bar, it is maximum of 1.7. Where it is maximum of 1.7, it is minimum at this place, maximum over here at this place. Now you can keep this in front view, you can see the deform, you can see the displacement. Okay, it is maximum 1 mm. Okay, that is fine for me, it is allowed. So 1 mm is okay, but if you want to have more factor of more uh, that generally we call it as safety. So what is your safety factor? So what my design is, one, it is 1.5 times safer than my actual working conditions. Okay, so displacement, and see, displacement you can calculate in x direction, y direction, and z direction. This is directional displacement. Okay, this is your directional displacement. In y direction it is negative 1.7 mm. Okay, if you want to check that in z direction, it is generally towards this side. Okay, you can check that from the above. From in this side it is minus 0.01 mm. So you have to check in all the scenarios whether it should be there or whether directional displacement can be there or it should not be there. See, in x direction it is 0.1 mm. Is that allowed or not? You have to be precise. Okay. uh, Next, reaction force. See, reaction force always, see, whenever you are acting load at this point, reaction force will be in the opposite direction wherever you fix your body. Okay, now reaction forces, see, how many newtons did you give your load? That is 1000 newtons you have given. What could be the reaction force at this particular end? You calculate your finite element method, take that along, input your values, give the dimensions, and check the reaction force over there. That is your basic mechanics, and you have to match that particular value over here, whether it is right or wrong. Generally this is right actually. Okay, this is maximum of 1900 newtons. This is your reaction force. Okay, so whether that is allowable or not, you have to check. And then next, total, see, in again you can check in x direction, you can check in y direction, and again you can check that in x, y, and z direction. Okay, these are directional reaction forces. Okay, you have to do quite a good analysis on this every factor. See, there are various factors, and you can go with strain. See how much strain is there at this position. Generally, how much, uh, say, delta L by L is your actual strain, change in length by your original length. So that is whether this value is allowable or not. So you can check equivalent strain or first, see, all you have now, your principal strain, normal strain, shear strain. So as soon as you have shear stresses, you have shear strain. So check that, check those values, and you would be put forth with lot of questions on this particular analysis. Okay, so you are good at finite element method, just go and check all these results, then your mini project is a huge success. Okay, generally your major project, what your seniors are going to do is take a simple bar, do a good amount of analysis using Fusion 360. That is your major project itself. Okay, take a leaf spring example. One project is on leaf spring. You have a leaf spring, more or less it will be looking in the same way. Material will be changing. One end it is fixed, one end it is left as an pin joint. Okay, I have shown what is pin joint, and at the bottom, at the center exactly, you have to add the load onto this face. That is how you actually define the boundary condition. That's all. That becomes your major project. And in your major project, we are going to ask what type of, what kind of stresses it has been induced. And how you can say that your von Mises stress is when compared to your yield strength. So that is those questions are put forth by us. Okay, that you have to learn by depending upon your finite element method skills. Okay, this is about your simple analysis, and take those figures and everything. Deformation scale, make sure that always it should be actual. Okay, fine. That is how you can check factor of safety. See default values of factor of safety, upper target. See if you want to change your factor of safety value, upper target and lower target. Okay, don't generally we don't actually try to change the values. Okay, if you want to have recommendations of that, you can just check, just close it after you complete your simulation. Just close it. That is about your load case one. And now fine, now if I want to change my design, now what you have to do is, now you have seen that your factor of safety is quite low. I mean it is very low, it's not that high. Now what you have to do, I mean you observe your stresses where they are actually developing. See here my stresses are more. Then what you need to do, you have to change the cross section over here. Now I have given a uniform design, right? So you increase the, I mean you change the design over here. You make it, you add material over here, or else you change the design to here the cross section is more, here the cross section is less at this end. Okay, you change the design and you redo the analysis, and you say that, sir, my design, my initial design, the results were shown in this way, and my case study, case number one, case number two, case number three, or else design number one, design number two, and design number three, these are the three designs I have proposed. Design number one is having more stresses over here, design number two is having stresses at here. So that comparison you need to do, and finally choose one design which is having good factor of safety and less stress. I mean stress concentration should not be over here, and it should be a little bit of less. Okay, and you also have to keep the material weight actually. Okay, overall material weight, if you keep on adding your material, your weight will be increased. Keeping your weight as low as possible, and also getting your results higher. I mean higher result, better results means your factor of safety should be high. That is what your designing is. Okay, now you have got idea on how to do your mini projects. Take a simple link. Say I have taken a simple link, and I'm speaking a lot on this particular link itself. Okay, that is how your mini project should be, or else your general project scenario should be. Okay, see you can do two ways. One, you can take your part modeling, do an assembly, get some simulation done, that is fine. Okay, to your mini project. Okay, that is one kind of mini project. And if you want to do a proper mini project and you want to extend that and you want to learn what is analysis, go study your finite element method again, what is my principal stresses, what are they, and everything. Take a simple link and change your designs 4 to 5 configurations, and add the same load, give the same boundary conditions, and check that. Okay, fine, sir, among all the 4 proposed designs, this design is best. Why it is best? Because it has low displacement, and it is getting low stresses, right? That is how you need to do a proper mini project. Then no one will be having any question on that, that you can do it. And now if you take a complicated object, if you have gear, you can perform force, you can act force on that particular gear, and you can do analysis. Okay, how the gear teeth, all the gear teeth, or else a single tooth you can take and you can act the force, how the tooth deformation is taking place. Okay, that kind of analysis you can do. There are many designs. Take a paper clip example. Model a paper clip and you give the force, with what force it is going to hold your object, so whether the material is deforming or not. That kind of analysis you can do. So there are a number of possibilities. Okay, fine. So that is about you regarding your simulation study. Okay, once you finish your and then just click finish results. As soon as you finish results, you simulation results again. If you want, go to simulation results, and if you want to manage load, mesh controls, adaptive. See, mesh controls are quite rigorous. See, it is always recommended that you need to have good knowledge on what you are actually doing. Meshing is not a simple thing. Okay, in your actual job you need to learn at least for 2 years what is meshing and what type of element you are giving and everything. Okay, you cannot change the element type over here. Okay, because this is only a simple uh, analysis. Okay, simple analysis software, not a complicated one. So mesh control, if you want to change the mesh size, scale the mesh size, and if you want to increase, these are your advanced settings. Okay, now if you want to do change the size of the mesh and you reduce the values and do those kind of things, then you can check it. Changing the element size and mesh sizes over here. Okay, then that is about your static stress. For everything, for every analysis you can change your defaults. These are default settings bar. Okay, these are all default settings. Click OK. This is how you just manage your things. And if you want to solve see, this is your solve report. Okay, shortest edge, longest edge. Okay, this is your simple case study. If you these are a little bit advanced, don't go that deep. Generative mesh, what is solve status. Okay, so we can check whether my status is right or wrong. Preparing the model, it has completed its everything. There are no errors in meshing, solving your component and everything. Okay, click OK. And if you have solving details, you can check, that is all about how you actually do it. Loads, constraints, and results. If you want to view your results, just view again your results. Okay, that is just finish your results. That is how you get. Now if you want to color translation is smooth or banded, this is your banded, and this is your smooth color simulation, color translation, and everything. So that is how you actually do it. You can change the see, most important thing is your units. Most of the people say how to change my units, pascals or psi or bars. How do I get my stresses? Okay, this is how you change your units and all. That is the most important thing. Okay, so that is how you check your results. And if you want to change anything, so if you want to change your loads and everything, you can have change your loads force 1, edit structural load. Now if you want to change your load to magnitude of 1000 to their different value, you as soon as you change your, it will be throwing an error for all these elements. See, let me give it as 500 newtons and value, click OK. See, it is showing an error over here on the results. Okay, recheck your results and again you try to solve it. Okay, again if you try to solve it, it will solve for you. Again it will give results for you. Okay, that is how your simple simulation goes on. That is how you need to do it. Okay, ma. This is about your basic simulation. And let us come to our design. And see, this is about your simple design. And now let us perform uh, a simple part design. Okay, let me show how to get a part drawing out of this. Okay, design. Now we will see a drawing from part design. Okay, now by now you have full assembly. See, if you have your assembly, it will show it as an assembly. If you have a single part, you will be showing that as a simple part. Okay, now we will see what is assembly drawing, and also we will see how to generate bill of materials and everything. Okay, now I'm showing a simple part design. So in this part design, go to create new drawing. Okay, from scratch. Yes, you have to create a, see, if you have template, you can browse your template, company template, and you have can import. But the default template is necessary. You can go with ASME standard or ISO standard. Generally we'll go with ISO. Units are in inches or mm, always it is in inches. You can select the sheet size, whether it is A4. See, one is landscape, say just like your AutoCAD map. So it is as simple as such, whether it is in A4 landscape or A4 this. Okay, let's click OK, landscape or portrait, whatever you want to, and just click OK. Now it will go to environment of drawing environment. Okay, here is my sheet. My computer is really slow today. Okay, fine. And one thing, and if you want to close your actual simulation thing, that just delete all the simulation results, because a lot of memory will be occupied by your simulation. Okay, so make sure you delete that simulation and later you do all the drawings, assembly, and everything. Okay, don't make your simulation on while you do actually perform your modeling operations. Okay, fine. Now it is asking where I need to place my base view. Okay, uh, and your base view would be your front view, top view, or side view, whatever it might be. Okay, in your base view, it can be anything, top, front, side, or everything. And style, you can select whether it is visible with hidden edges, or else only visible edges, or else it can be shaded, or else it can be shaded with hidden edges. Now we will see what is shaded in your assembly drawing. Okay, fine. Now let us see simple way edges, and my scale would be generally 1 is to 10 for this. Let us click, let me increase my scale to 1 is to 1. No, I cannot get, I guess so. Okay, fine. Let me do it. 1 is to 1. Tangent edits. Threaded. If there are threaded, you can go with threaded. If there are interface, you can just go with interface edges. You can place it over here and just click OK. You can get your front view, whatever view it might be. And your projected view, always you can get your projected view. Select the parent view. This is my parent view. I want to generate a side view, and I want to generate my left side view and top view. If you want to generate an isometric view, you can generate your isometric view and all. Now, if you have your good sheet size, or else if you want to reduce your scale, you can reduce your scale. Now my sheet size is very low, so you know I'm going only with your front, top, and side views. Okay. Now, if you want to have a section view, go to section view. Click the parent view. Over here, I want to do a simple section view onto this point, and I want to place it over here. Objects to cut. Yes, where is this? Parent view. Select the first thing. Last till. Now, where I need to place it exactly, over here, and click OK. Okay. Now what I made is, I made a simple section A cut, where I have made is exactly onto this, exactly only half of it. For only half of the cross section, I have made a simple cut, and I'm showing it over here. Just a simple cross section. Now, if you want to make a section cut at different place, exactly over here, you can cut it over here and you can place it at this place. Okay, that is how you do a simple section cut. And if you want to make a detailed view, if I want to have a detailed view exactly at this point, select a page. This is my parent view. This is my center detailed view. Okay. I can enlarge and I can place it over here and click OK. Now this, I mean this, what I mean by detailed view is if there are any minute holes over here, you can zoom it and can place it over here, and you can zoom it and you can see whether my object is having some minute holes and everything. Okay, let me incorporate that also. Let me show it. I will go to this particular link and I'll just update my design. So let me make a small hole onto this face. Okay, fine. Took a different thing. Okay, onto this face. Okay, what it is doing, man. Okay, fine. My diameter would be very low. Okay, I'll give value as 1 mm. This diameter, let us click OK. That is 1 mm hole I have made. And I'll go to my untitled bar and let us see where it has updated. Just press Ctrl S. Now it is showing a warning that your object has been updated. At the top of your screen, you will be having your reference. If you double click it, it will update your component and it will show that there is a hole over here at this place. Now in your detailed view, you can observe that in your actual view it is very small and in your detailed view it is really large. Okay, that is about your detailed view. Now if you want to move your components over here and there, you can just click move, and you want to rotate your components, you can just rotate your components. And now let us see what geometry I could add. See, by default there are no center axis and everything. Okay, center marks. Now if I want to add center mark for the circle, I can add this center mark. For this also, for this I can add my center mark. If I zoom in, I can add my center mark even to the small hole. Okay, and center marks pattern, that is almost, and your center line. See, if you have any channel sections, like if you have any cylinder, uh, for that you can just add your sections. For this, right click, let me repeat center mark, now edit view. Over here I'll go with hidden edges. Show any hidden edges, let me click close. Over here I have some kind of cylinder, so center line for this particular first edge and second edge. For this particular channel section or else any cylinder section, it will be adding a center line over here. Okay, in that way you can do center mark and angle extension. If you have any draft angles, you can just mention it over here. Now let us see a simple dimensions. See, in your dimensions you have length dimension, align dimension, angular, radius, diameter, baseline. See, these are basics of your AutoCAD. We'll go directly to our radius. If I want to add radius to it, I'll just add radius to it. And if you want to change type, you can just go right click. And if you want to add prefix and suffix to it, I have two holes. Okay, what I'll do is two X space. Okay, and you can change your alternate units or symbol shape. You can enter your diameter. If it is diameter, you can enter your diameter symbol. Okay, you can add the tolerance symbol and everything. Repetition is allowed, reference dimension. So these are kind of things you can play around and give all these kind of things. And if you want diameter, length and everything dimensions, I want to give linear dimension. I'll go with this point to this point. I'll give some value to it, linear dimension. All dimensions are in mm by default. Okay, that you have to remember. And if you want to add any text, you can give any text. You can give text annotations. Okay, that is up to you. Now you have datums. Datums are related to your geometric dimensioning and tolerancing. Add your dimension and everything. So press escape. Now if you want to edit your table, see, but the only thing is edit title block. Just give add title block See, you have if you have your own title block, you can define it, or else if you want from a DWG file, uh, you have your DWG file. Like in your AutoCAD, you can design your template and you can import that from your source element. And let's click OK. Now into this line type, line weight, borders, and everything, you can just finish editing your title block. Okay, go to properties and edit title block, and again if you want to have anything, just change your title to store your commands, title 1, title 2, title 3. That is how you do it. I reset my attributes. It's very slow. Angular dimension, I don't have any angular dimension over here. What I'll do, I'll add some, okay fine, tables. Okay, how about tables too? Okay, now this is your simple assembly, your part drawing. Just if you want to go to output, go to current sheet, you can just click, and your drawing will be saved as in your output as a PDF file into your local system. Okay, and now if you want to have an assembly drawing, let me don't save this particular part, and let me add some components over here. My system is really slow today. Okay, fine. Let me go through it quickly. So let me add a cylinder or else any sphere all around. Hmm, onto this face, exactly at this play location. I'll just add another component, and I'll go create this as a new body. Okay, I'll select one face height. Let us click OK for that time being, and let me create another cylinder on button of same diameter and of a different another length. I don't want to join, I want to make as a new body. For that, let us click OK. And now what I'll do is I'll create a box onto this face. What I did actually, create box onto this face exactly at this center. Mm, I'll give some random value to it, and I'll just make sure it is somewhat it will be looking in that way. I'll just join into this particular part. Okay, I'll just join my assembly. That's all. These are my three parts. Let me change my body 1 and body 2 to create components from bodies. So I've created component number 1. Let me rename it as um, gear end. Let me rename this as pedal end. I'm just renaming it randomly. Okay, don't worry about that. Go to assembly, go to as built joint. Generally, give it as revolute or exit, whatever it might be. Select the component number 1 and component number 2, and place it exactly over here. And this could be okay. Fine. I did not give my base right. Okay, fine. Let me give this as my ground component and assembly as will joint number 1 and number 2. Now I want to give revolute at this place. Now it is revolving at this particular phase. I'm giving some value to it, and now assembly as well joint, not revolute. I'll go with rigid. I'll select 1 and select this one as 2. Click OK. Okay, this is my simple assembly. Now what I'll do is I'll go to animation of onto this animation. Just hide your animation window. Okay, onto this animation window, what I'll do is transform available components to explode. Okay, to export one line, I'll select number one, number two, and number three. I'll select transform auto explode to one level. See, now it is going to explode. Click OK. Now it is going to separate my component. And let me click this also and move this component to some extent. Just click OK. This is my little exploded view. Now what I need to do is I'll go to design uh, and let me give an material to these things. Uh, for this link, go to property physical material. So I'll just change my material. Go to fabric or liquids or metal, aluminium. Just I'll give aluminium anodized red aluminium for time being. I'll just go with brass. I'm giving some random to show a color difference between what I'm actually doing. Okay, just I'll go with iron or iron gray cast iron for this. Just close. Okay, that became a cool element. Now what I'll do is design drawing from animation. Click that storyboard number one. Click that is from scratch ISO. Click A3 or A2 or whatever it might be. Just click OK. Now I'm going at randomly, not doing it. See, now exploding or not exploding, that depends upon you. Okay, fine, you want to explode it or else you want to don't explode it. Just go to simulation, do as it is, generate your assembly drawing from that particular design. I'll just go to home, orientation. We'll just make sure this is the same. Shaded base view, and let me create this drawing over here. It is very slow today. Let me select my scale. 1:4. No, it is not visible to me. 1:1. No, it is also not visible. Okay, let me go with 1:2. It's fine for me. Just click OK. Now, I have given this as shaded. Shaded element means it actually directly incorporates the actual dynamic color and complexity of this. And you can insert an image, tables. You can insert a balloon view, standard. Okay, fine, parent. Okay, fine, I'll go with simple standard. This is 3. This has been automatically renamed depending upon your actual dimension. I mean, you whatever you have done your assembly. This is my first one base. Second, I have given this as 2 and 3. Okay, now generate table. Empty table, not as a selected drawing. Can insert bill of materials. Okay, now whatever I have selected material, that can be that is directly available over here. What material I have given directly. Now if you want to add any description to this, see the name, part number and part name, almost it will be doing it automatically. And if you want to add any description, go to link 5, your design, actual design, not in animation. Go to design, and in your pedal end, you go to right click, go to properties, and if you, where is this description, over here there is a description. This is a sample ASCII. Click OK. So I'm making sure I'll just save my assembly, and I'll just go over here and it is showing a warning. Let me update my component. Okay, what description I have given over there, that is available over here. Like that you can give description to your bill of materials. And now if you want to align see align balloons, this one I need to align with this. Okay, select your balloons to align, just press enter. Can move that and place it at this particular place. Now you can align your, see, all these balloons are aligned at vertically. Okay, now you can do it in horizontal direction or whatever direction you need to do it, you can just do it. Okay, that is up to you when you can choose the dimensions on it. Okay, after once you have finished everything, go output and output as PDF. Now you can output as DWG file. Okay, now you can output that as CSV. CSV means you can import that into your Excel sheet. Okay, now you can do that Excel sheet. Output PDF, generally we go with PDF. Now you want to open that in your AutoCAD, you can open that in your AutoCAD DWG file. Generally we go with output DWG file. Click that and can export that to PDF. That is how you get your assembly drawing from your simple assembly. Okay, and in your assembly drawing there will be no dimensions. Please make sure that in your assembly drawing never there will be any dimension in your assembly. In your assembly drawing there will be bill of materials and your part names and part numbers. That is called as manufacturing, I mean your assembly drawing. Okay, fine. If you want to give dimensions, individual parts, sheet number 1, part number 1, sheet number 2, part number 3, sheet number 4, part number 4. That is how you need to give your part drawings. Okay, so this is your end of your Fusion 360. This is how far you have come. Now I have explained everything. I mean, almost almost everything, not everything. To precisely speak, most of that I have covered in your design. Yeah, see, rendering a part you have to do it on your own, because see, teaching and I mean your online classes running, and also I have to do a rendering operation. I cannot do that at the same time. Hope today my system will support. Let me close this gallery. Let us see to at least today my system is maybe supports rendering. See, appearance, as I have explained, you can go to right click and go observation. You can add your library and everything. And setup, physical material, you can add everything. Now, in scene settings, change your brightness level. See, this is your brightness level. Okay, and environment, if you want to add any environment background, you can have environment library. So I'll show in a minute. So before that, your turn, if you want to turn your reflections on, turn your reflections over here. And if you want to change your reflections, you can just toggle that, flatten to the ground. Okay, make sure your this thing is flattened. Again my system got fine. Okay, fine. Ground and your camera settings, whether it is perspective with ortho faces. See, perspective view and orthographic view you have idea on, right? You can change that. You want to change your focal length. See, this is your perspective and orthographic view. Exposure, you can just change your values of your exposure. If you want to change that into orthographic view, you can change orthographic or perspective, you can go with perspective. Aspect ratio, you can just play with this. Depth of field, don't show again. Center focus or depth of field, everything you can just change it. Okay, that is up to you how you actually just play with these things according to your setting, and you can change according to your style. Now I'll just show, see, position of your environment is quite see, you can change your lights and everything, ground scale, and just play with these things how your lights are going to be and how your reflections are going to be, and just check those things and all. And now I have shown that background, right? I'll want to reset. See, there are, as I've shown yesterday, there are many dry lake what I've downloaded yesterday. Okay, fine. Settings and center focus. Okay, like this position environment. See, you can place it on a dry lake and mm, let me download this dry lake. Click the download environment. Press and drop it over here. It will actually show your scene as dry lake. As I have said, this is graphics intensive. I mean, you have to have good LAN connection. Leave your time. Okay, fine. Now you have placed your object onto this dry lake or somewhere. You can just zoom out and you can have, see, with respect to the actual size, you have this particular size. Go to settings, just change your settings and all camera settings, and you play with these things, ma. Just close it once you have finished. And see, one most important thing is, now let me background solid, let me give it as a solid color for now. And your decals, now you can have your own decals, ma. Insert from my computer, you have your name or photo embedded into this particular thing. Now let me go to desktop. I have let me show this as my decal. Just click OK, open. It will be asking on which face I need to select my decal. So this is my thing. I want to opacity, find distance, angle, scale. Now I want to scale that down to 0.5. No, it is going to do 0.3. Okay, fine. Scale factor over here, it is 0.3. Sorry. 0.3. You can give an XY both directions as 1 as 0.3. No, that will give it as 0.8. Okay, accordingly you just scale your object and just place it wherever you want. Okay, and you just click opacity or whatever it might be. Okay, you just increase the scale to 1.5. Okay, fine. What is Fusion 360? Click OK. Now whatever object or whatever after you finishing your operation, just you can add your name. You can add your, see, in Photoshop, do whatever you want. Design your own logo, like your name or everything, different font style. Your you can impart your photo over here. Okay, now this is just branding. I don't this is just only decal texture map controls, and this is about decals. This is how you insert. Now just render for high quality images. Now if you want to render, just click render settings. You have all these things, ma. It is showing that it takes render time as 10 minutes for this particular version. You have custom, like over 1080p or video print quality, mobile quality. You have all these things. Okay, just explore that. For this particular rendering operation, it takes at least 10 minutes. Standard rendering, it takes all around see, you need to have credits for final thing. Okay, one credit is required. Local rendering, standard one, just a transparent background and everything. Click render. It will just render your image for quite 1 minute or depending upon your sections, depending upon your environment. It will show your render images. Sorry, render images on the bottom of the screen. Okay, because my computation is now no, I'm not doing right now. If you want to render, just click render. It takes time. Do render your high quality images and everything. Okay, that is how you do render operation, animation, design and everything. Okay, that is how you add your decals and everything. Finally, see, what my intention is to give is there are two kinds, as I have explained, there are two kinds of mini projects. Take one. First one is take a good assembly, like your take a simple assembly like your uh, tire, like yeah, okay, fine, take a simple handle, right, to take your tire and simulate that environment. And example, you have many mechanisms see, example, in your Fusion 360 you have Geneva mechanisms, right, in your animation, like your rendering. Let me show a design. See, this mechanism is called Geneva mechanism. Okay, there is a Geneva gear over here, pin and slot type of mechanism. What it actually does is, if you rotate that particular shaft over there, and it will, this is just a timing. Okay, this is called Geneva mechanism. You can simulate a lot of mechanisms are there in your assembly. Go to differential, you can just simulate it. Like example, if I have taken a pedal and a gear assembly, now if I rotate this one, add a pedal to this, add a gear to this end, and take a chain and a rubber chain, that if you rotate this pedal, and your chain and sprocket should rotate. Okay, that cool type of animations, I mean, your simulations you can do, right, that you can do it. See, that is one kind of thing, like taking assembly and you do a perfect assembly. You add, like you have door assembly, sliding doors, grills, scissors lift mechanism. You can note it down. You have a USB stick, and simple nut and a bolt assembly is quite difficult for you people to do it perfectly, right? In yesterday's class, someone has asked that, sir, I have done nut and bolt assembly. And see, nut and bolt, so a nut, let us suppose this as your nut. It should start from here to end here. It has to take certain number of revolutions, like 10. After 10 to 15 revolutions, it arrives to this particular point. That should be your assembly, right? Not one revolution, you cannot reach your nut to this end. Okay, so that kind of analysis you can do. So there are many more, that is not limited to one particular thing. Okay, but my suggestion is, take any uh, Geneva mechanism, sun and planetary gear, elliptical gear design. Okay, design any, take your DMM subject, design a particular gear, the gear assembly, like differential, elliptical gears, warm and warm gears. Okay, so that kind of assembly you can take. And sliding mechanisms, so all, there are many, lot of mechanisms are there. So try to simulate that, and your mini project is done. That is first kind. And your second kind of thing is more related to your analysis. Like if you whatever I have shown today. Okay, take a simple very basic assembly. You do in this way, make this as complete single part. I have done this as an assembly, right? You can take this as a simple part. Now you can fix this particular face, and you can add a load on to this face. Okay, now you can show that this particular part, what are the different stresses there at induced in this particular part. Change the design, make sure you now I have made this as uniform link, right? Make your change another design, right? You have cross section more and cross section less over here, and show that particular stress. Okay, vary dimensions. You make two four designs of this particular same link, and you show that design number 1, 2, 3, and 4. Get the results for all these four, compare that. Sir, this design is better. I have chosen this design because stresses are really low, depending on factor of safety is high for this particular design, so I have chosen this particular design. That is your second type of mini project. Okay, so these are two different types of mini projects you can do. And form a group of four. So there are 40 students, or else more or less precisely speaking, there are 25 students. Only 24 to 29 students I'm seeing daily. And even today's strength is really low. To 21, it has come down. So more or less it is 29. So I guess more or less you can get 6 batches, or else at 8 batches, 3 members each, 24 members. So depend, that is up to you. Give the names. Say I'll send a Google form regarding your mini projects. Candidate number 1, 2, 3. See, at least 3 members should be there, maximum of 4. So you can give your names and form a group, and just show me, or give me an idea that I'm going to do on. This is my idea. I wanted to do mini project and so and so, and that is up to you. Okay, that is how you need to do your mini projects. So mini projects dates will be starting soon. We'll just display it in couple of days. Okay, so at least it takes 1 week of time. I don't know what the time would be after 1 week, or maybe I don't know. May second week we may release. But till then, just practice all these exercises. You have your YouTube playlist of all the sessions from starting from session 1 to session 7. All you have online. Just go through it. I have explained how to design in a simple element, assemble a simple element, simulate a simple element, and do a part drawing. Okay, all you have to do it. Huh? That is up to your Fusion 360. Now, if you have any doubts, open questions, you can throw on me. You can unmute your mic and you can just throw any question, any doubts regarding this Fusion 360 or any design. So you can unmute yourself and you can ask me more. Now I'll stop recording this session.